First contact. The quantum drive's hum died away as the ESS Pathfinder dropped back into normal space, its sensors immediately scanning the unexplored system. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's forward viewport, her dark eyes reflecting the light of 3 distant suns. After 18 months of deep space exploration, they'd finally found something worth reporting. Multiple artificial structures detected, Commander, Lieutenant Park announced from his station. Definitely not natural formations. They're massive, each one bigger than Earth's moon. Sarah nodded, maintaining her composure despite her racing heart. Her crew of 30 had just stumbled upon humanity's first evidence of an advanced alien civilization. Take us in closer, but maintain distance. Passive scans only. The Pathfinder crept forward on conventional drives, its sophisticated sensors gathering data on the enormous ring-shaped constructs orbiting the system's largest sun. The structures gleamed with an otherworldly blue-green light, their surfaces etched with patterns that defied human understanding. Energy readings are off the charts, Park reported. Whatever these things are, they're pulling power directly from the star itself. Sarah was about to order a closer approach when klaxons blared across the bridge. Multiple vessels incoming, Park shouted. They just appeared. Nothing on our scans until now. Closest one is bigger than our entire ship. Through the viewport, Sarah watched as sleek, crystalline ships materialized around them, their hulls rippling like liquid metal. The Pathfinder's communication system crackled to life, filling the bridge with a cascade of harmonious tones that somehow conveyed meaning directly into their minds. We are the Concordat. You have entered restricted space. Your presence here is unauthorized. Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady despite the situation. I am Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Pathfinder. We are explorers, seeking peaceful contact with other civilizations. We apologize for any intrusion. There was a pause then. Your species is unknown to us. Explain your origin and capabilities. As Sarah described Earth and humanity's nascent space program, she felt a subtle probe brush against her consciousness. They were scanning not just her ship, but her mind. She maintained her focus, projecting thoughts of peace and discovery. The response, when it came, struck like ice water. Your kind has advanced far too quickly. Your potential for violence is concerning. You will be contained. The alien ships began moving into an attack formation. Sarah's tactical training screamed at her to power up weapons, to fight back, but she forced herself to remain still. Please, she said. We mean no harm. We can leave immediately and never return. Your individual vessel poses no threat, the aliens acknowledge, but your civilization's trajectory is unacceptable. We have seen your kind before. You expand, you multiply, you consume. We will not permit another aggressive species to gain interstellar capabilities. Sarah's mind raced. The Concordat wasn't just threatening her ship. They were planning to neutralize Earth itself. But something in their words caught her attention. They saw her lone vessel as harmless, even as they feared humanity's potential as a whole. What if we proved we could explore space peacefully? She asked. Would you give us that chance? Explain. Let my ship return home. Let us show you that we can learn and grow without threatening others. Judge us by our actions, not your predictions. There was a long silence. Sarah held her breath, aware that humanity's future hung on this moment. Finally, the alien response came. Your vessel may depart, but know that you are watched. Any sign of military expansion beyond your solar system will be met with immediate response. We will not permit fleets of your kind to spread through space. Understood, Sarah replied, relief flooding through her. Thank you for your mercy. As the Pathfinder began its long journey home, Sarah retreated to her quarters and began composing her report. Earth's dreams of building vast armadas to explore the cosmos were now impossible. But perhaps there was another way, a way that would turn this limitation into an unexpected strength. She typed the first lines of what would become the foundation of humanity's future in space. Preliminary proposal. The Lone Ship Protocol. A strategy for human survival and exploration in a universe of superior powers. Behind her, the quantum drive hummed to life, carrying humanity's first profound lesson about its place in the cosmos. Sometimes, appearing harmless was the most powerful strategy of all. The decision. The United Earth Council chamber had never been so silent. The holographic display at the center of the room showed the final images from the Pathfinder's encounter with the Concordat, massive crystalline ships that made humanity's most advanced vessels look like children's toys. Admiral Victor Torres stood at the podium, his weathered face grave as he addressed the assembled leaders. Commander Chen's report leaves no room for doubt. The Concordat possesses technology centuries beyond our own, and they're not alone. There are other powers out there, watching us. Defense Minister Elena Rodriguez slammed her fist on the table. Then we accelerate our military development. We build bigger ships, better weapons. We show these aliens we won't be intimidated. That's exactly what will get us killed, Sarah Chen interrupted, stepping forward. 3 months had passed since the Pathfinder's return, but she could still feel the alien presence in her mind. The Concordat didn't fear our current capabilities. They feared what we might become. Any attempt to militarize space will be seen as confirmation of their worst suspicions. So we just surrender, Rodriguez demanded. Accept their restrictions. No, Sarah replied, her voice firm. We adapt. We survive. And maybe we turn their own assumptions against them. She gestured, and a new hologram appeared. Detailed schematics for a different kind of vessel. I call it the Lone Ship Protocol. The chamber erupted in murmurs as Sarah explained her proposal. Future human exploration would be conducted by single ships, lightly armed and staffed with crews trained in diplomacy and scientific research. No military fleets, no colonization armadas, just individual vessels seeking knowledge and trade. This is madness, Rodriguez protested. You want us to send our people out there alone and virtually defenseless. I want us to survive, Sarah countered. The Concordat let the Pathfinder go because they saw a single ship as harmless. We can use that perception. One ship can slip through barriers that would stop a fleet. One crew can build relationships that armies never could. Dr. James Patel, the Council's chief sinologist, leaned forward. There's historical precedent for this approach. Ancient Earth cultures often used individual traders and explorers to penetrate territories where armies would be destroyed. It's not about military strength. It's about appearing non-threatening while gathering intelligence and building connections. And if these lone ships encounter hostile aliens, Torres asked, if we lose contact, then we send another single ship to investigate, Sarah replied. We maintain the protocol no matter what. The moment we respond with force, we prove the Concordat right about us. The debate raged for hours. Sarah watched as humanity's leaders wrestled with a fundamental shift in their understanding of their place in the universe. They had dreamed of being space conquistadors, of building empires among the stars. Now they had to accept a humbler role or face extinction. Finally, Council President Diana Wells called for a vote. The choice before us is clear. Adapt to this new reality, or risk the survival of our species. All in favor of implementing the Lone Ship Protocol. Hands rose slowly at first, then with growing conviction. Even Rodriguez, after a long moment, raised hers. The protocol passed unanimously. Commander Chen, well said, you've given us a framework for survival. Now we need you to help implement it. Will you lead the training program for our future lone ship crews? Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Yes, Madam President, but we'll need to completely redesign our approach to space exploration. These crews won't just need technical skills. They'll need to be diplomats, scientists, and philosophers all at once. And every crew will know they're on their own out there, Torres added soberly. No backup. No rescue fleet if things go wrong. That's exactly what will make them effective, Sarah replied. When you know you can't rely on superior firepower, you find other ways to succeed. We'll train them to be resourceful, adaptable, and most importantly, humble. The meeting adjourned, but Sarah lingered in the chamber, staring at the holographic ships of the Concordat. Humanity had just chosen a path that would reshape its destiny, not through conquest or dominance, but through patience, wisdom, and the courage to appear weak while growing strong in unexpected ways. As she left the chamber, Sarah's tablet chimed with the first applications for lone ship training. Despite everything, humans were still eager to explore the stars. They would just have to learn to do it differently than anyone had imagined. The real work was just beginning. The Pioneer, Captain Marcus Rivera, stood in the observation lounge of the ESS Venture, watching his crew prepare for their first real test. After 2 years of specialized training under Sarah Chen's program, they were about to prove whether the lone ship protocol could work in practice. Contact in 3 minutes, Lieutenant Maya Patel announced over the comm. Alien vessel maintaining its course. Still no response to our hails. The unknown ship had appeared at the edge of the Tau Ceti system, where the Venture was conducting its initial survey mission. Unlike the crystalline ships of the Concordat, this vessel resembled a massive sea creature, its organic-looking hull pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. All stations, remember your training, Marcus said calmly. No defensive screens, no weapon charging. We present ourselves exactly as we are, a single ship of explorers. The alien vessel drew closer, its size becoming apparent. It could have swallowed the Venture whole. Marcus fought down his instinctive urge to raise shields, remembering Commander Chen's words. The moment we act defensively, we become a threat. The ship's communication system suddenly came alive with a series of complex biochemical formulae. Dr. Sofia Santos, their xenolinguist, worked frantically at her station. Captain, they're not using standard communication protocols. These are molecular structures. Protein chains, I think. Marcus smiled. This was exactly the kind of challenge they'd trained for. Dr. Santos, send them the chemical formula for human DNA. Let's show them we can speak their language. The response was immediate. The alien vessel's bioluminescence shifted to a warm golden hue, and a new series of formulae appeared, this time accompanied by mathematical equations that clearly indicated a request for peaceful interaction. Over the next 6 hours, the Venture's crew established their first diplomatic contact with the Meridae, a species that thought in terms of biological processes rather than words or images. Their massive ship was actually a living entity, grown rather than built, and they were fascinated by humanity's mechanical approach to space travel. They're asking why we're alone, Santos reported. They seemed concerned that we might be sick or injured, separated from our... I think the closest translation would be pod. Marcus took a deep breath. This was the crucial moment. Explaining the lone ship protocol without revealing Earth's vulnerability. Tell them this is our way. We explore as individuals to show respect for the space we enter, like a single cell testing new waters. The Meridae's response was unexpected. Their ship emitted patterns of light that their newly established translation protocols identified as expressions of profound approval. They understood exploring with minimal impact. It was how their own species had evolved, sending individual biological probes to test new environments before committing resources. They're offering us technical data, Santos said excitedly. Bioorganic computing systems, sustainable energy production. They say these are gifts for wise younglings who swim carefully. Marcus contained his excitement. This was exactly what the protocol was designed to achieve. Turning humanity's restrictions into diplomatic advantages, accept graciously, and offer our own data on mechanical engineering. Let's show them humans can be good trading partners. Over the next few days, the Venture and the Meridae vessel maintained position near Tau Ceti, exchanging knowledge and establishing the foundation for future relations. The aliens never once questioned why humans explored in single ships. To them, it seemed like the natural order of things. When they finally parted ways, the Meriday left them with navigation data marking safe currents through their territory, routes where future lone ships would be welcome. They also included a warning about regions controlled by the Crystal Hunters, their name for the Concordat. Back in his quarters, Marcus recorded his mission log. First contact under the Lone Ship Protocol exceeded all expectations. By approaching as a single vessel, we were seen not as invaders or competitors, but as careful explorers worthy of respect. The Meriday's biological technology could revolutionize our understanding of space travel, and they offered it freely because we came to learn, not to conquer. He paused, considering his next words carefully. Commander Chen was right. Humanity's future in space doesn't depend on the size of our fleet or the power of our weapons. It depends on our ability to turn our limitations into strengths, to be humble enough to learn and wise enough to grow slowly. The Lone Ship Protocol isn't just a survival strategy. It's a philosophy that could help us find our true place among the stars. The Venture's quantum drive hummed softly as they prepared to return home. Behind them, the Meriday ship flashed a final pattern of bioluminescence, a gesture that translated roughly as, "Swim well, wise little ones." Marcus smiled. Humanity might be restricted to exploring in single ships, but those ships were building bridges that no fleet could ever forge. The test. The emergency meeting of the United Earth Council was called at midnight. The holographic display at the center of the chamber showed the last known coordinates of the ESS Endeavour, which had gone silent 3 days ago, while exploring a previously unmapped sector of space. Admiral Torres, now silver-haired but still commanding, faced the assembled council. The Endeavour's final transmission indicated they had discovered unusual energy signatures. Then nothing. No distress call, no debris field, just silence. Defense Minister Rodriguez's successor, Julian Kane, leaned forward. "This is the moment we feared. We must respond with force. Show whoever's responsible that humanity cannot be picked off one ship at a time." Sarah Chen, now director of the Lone Ship Program, rose from her seat. Age had lined her face, but her eyes retained their intensity. "That would violate everything we've built over the last 15 years. The protocol exists precisely for moments like this. A crew of 40 is missing." Kane protested. "You want us to just send another single ship into what could be a trap?" "Yes," Sarah replied firmly. "Because that's how we prove who we really are, to ourselves and to the galaxy." After hours of debate, the Council approved a response mission. The ESS Pioneer, commanded by Captain Area Wong, would investigate the Endeavour's disappearance. Like all lone ships, it would carry minimal weapons and a crew trained in the protocol's philosophy. As the Pioneer approached the Endeavour's last known location, they detected the same energy signatures mentioned in the final transmission. Captain Wong stood at the bridge's main viewport, watching the strange, swirling patterns in space. "Analysis," she asked her science officer, Dr. Kevin Nazari. "It's like nothing we've seen before," Nazari replied. "The energy patterns suggest some kind of spatial distortion, but it's clearly artificial. Someone built this." Before Wong could respond, the Pioneer's sensors detected movement. A massive structure was emerging from the distortion, a city-sized complex of interconnected spheres, each one pulsing with internal light. "Captain," Communications Officer Lai Chen called out, "We're being hailed. The signal, it's coming from the Endeavour." The view screen activated, showing Captain Michael Santos of the Endeavour. He looked tired but unharmed. "Pioneer, thank God. Don't worry, we're safe. We've made, well, it's quite a discovery." Over the next few hours, Santos explained what had happened. The Endeavour had encountered a reclusive species called the Archivists, who maintained vast libraries of knowledge gathered from across the galaxy. The energy signatures were part of their security system, a way to evaluate potential visitors. "They've been watching humanity since we implemented the Lone Ship Protocol," Santos explained. "Our ships, exploring space one at a time, reminded them of their own history. They were testing us, Pioneer, waiting to see how we'd respond to a missing ship. A test? Wong asked, understanding dawning in her eyes. They wanted to know if we'd stay true to the protocol, even in a crisis. Exactly. If we'd responded with military force, they would have remained hidden. But by sending a single ship to investigate, Santos smiled. They're offering us access to their archives, Captain. Centuries of accumulated knowledge from thousands of civilizations, knowledge they only share with species they trust. The archivists themselves finally appeared on the screen. Ethereal beings of pure energy who had long ago transcended physical form. Their message was translated into a series of mathematical equations that expressed both approval and invitation. Back on Earth, the council chamber erupted in celebration when the Pioneers' report arrived. The lone ship protocol had just opened doors that no amount of military might could have forced. Sarah Chen sat quietly, watching the festivities. She thought about that first encounter with the Concordat, 15 years ago. Their attempt to restrict humanity's expansion into space had forced humans to develop a different approach to the stars. And that approach was proving more powerful than any fleet. In her quarters later that night, she added a new entry to the protocol's official documentation. Our greatest strength lies not in our ability to project power, but in our willingness to approach the universe with humility and patience. Each lone ship we send to the stars carries not just a crew, but a philosophy that true exploration requires not conquest, but understanding. The Endeavor and Pioneer remained with the archivists, their crews beginning the monumental task of studying the ancient archives. Two small ships, alone in the vastness of space, proving that sometimes the quietest approach makes the loudest statement. Legacy. 50 years after the implementation of the Lone Ship Protocol, 16-year-old Maya Chen stood in the observation dome of Starbridge Station, watching Earth's latest explorer prepare for departure. The ESS Horizon gleamed in the starlight, its sleek design evolved from decades of refinement but still following the protocol's core principle: one ship, one crew, one mission. Ready for the tour? A familiar voice asked behind her. Maya turned to find her grandmother, Sarah Chen, now in her 80s but still sharp as ever. I still don't understand, Gran, Maya said as they walked toward the viewing platform. We've learned so much, advanced so far. Why do we still limit ourselves to single ships? Sarah smiled. Let me show you something few people get to see. They entered a secure chamber deep within the station. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing hundreds of lone ships scattered across the galaxy. Each vessel glowed with a different color, representing the various species they were engaging with. This is humanity's real fleet, Sarah explained. Not a military armada, but a network of bridges. Each ship out there isn't just exploring. They're building relationships that have transformed our understanding of the universe. The displays shifted, showing technological advances that had revolutionized human civilization. Biological computers from the Meridae, zero-point energy systems from the archivists, consciousness transfer technology from the quantum collective. All gained not through force or demands, but through patient diplomacy and cultural exchange. The Concordat thought they were containing us. Sarah continued. Instead, they forced us to evolve. Every lone ship became an embassy, every crew a testament to humanity's ability to learn and adapt. A new alert flashed across the displays. The Horizon was ready for departure. Its mission: to investigate strange signals from beyond the galaxy's edge. As they watched the ship prepare for quantum jump, Sarah shared a secret she'd kept for decades. The Concordat's ultimatum wasn't just a threat. It was a test. Many young species try to expand through military might, and they either destroy themselves or get destroyed. The ones who survive, they're the ones who learn to grow in different ways. Maya's eyes widened as understanding dawned. You mean? The Lone Ship Protocol didn't just help us survive. It proved we were ready to join something larger. Sarah gestured, and the holographic display expanded to show vast networks of cooperation and exchange between civilizations. There's an unofficial coalition of species out there, all of whom learned the same lesson we did. They call it the quiet exchange, civilizations that chose wisdom over warfare. The horizon vanished in a flash of quantum energy, beginning its journey. Maya watched the space where it had been, seeing it with new eyes. So every lone ship is carrying humanity's most powerful message, Sarah finished. That we're strong enough to be humble, wise enough to learn before we teach, and brave enough to explore without needing to conquer. As they left the command center, they passed a group of cadets training for future lone ship missions. Sarah paused, listening to their instructor. Your ship may be alone in space, but it carries the hopes and values of our entire species. Never forget, the protocol isn't a limitation, it's a choice. Every time we send a single ship instead of a fleet, we're choosing to be something more than just another aggressive species with powerful weapons. Maya looked at her grandmother, seeing not the frustration of restrictions, but the pride of discovery. When do I get to apply for lone ship training? Sarah laughed. I was wondering when you'd ask. You know, your mother said the same thing at your age. Above them, across the vast expanse of space, humanity's lone ships continued their quiet work, not conquering the galaxy, but weaving humanity into its fabric, one peaceful encounter at a time. The protocol that began as a survival strategy had become something far more, a philosophy that proved sometimes the gentlest approach could achieve the most profound results.